The SBI Foundation is having 3 flagship programs. First is SBI Youth for India Fellowship, and second is SBI Center of Excellence for Persons with Disability, and the third one is SBI Gram Seva. As regards SBI Youth for India Fellowship, we select 100 youth every year and allot them to partnered NGOs, and they work on projects for rural development. We take highly educated youth from urban areas and orient them in such a way that at the end of 13 months they develop a liking for working in rural sector. And we are very proud to tell that out of the 100 youth we take every year, almost 60% continue to be in the development sector. And these are very highly educated and passionate youth, and it is a very great support for the NGOs, because these highly educated youth with so much of motivation, so much of passion are coming into the development sector. So this is a program which is something of very great pride for us, SBI Youth for India Fellowship. And you should also know that more than 7,000 youths apply for this fellowship. We shortlist around 550, interview them, and take around 100 people, 100 youths as fellows. So it's a highly competitive also, and it is something very great for us to see that thousands of highly educated youths are applying for this fellowship, which shows that the modern youth are interested in development sector also. Our second fellowship program, that is SBI Center of Excellence for Persons with Disability. Here we try to institutionalize the best practices SBI is following with respect to disabled persons into other nationalized banks, other institutions. We train the disabled persons and also see that when they return back to their institutions, they are absorbed into the mainstream. Instead of just parking them as a receptionist or counter in the counter or in the dispatch section, where they are not contributing much. Whereas after the training which we give to the persons with disability, we see that these people are gainfully employed in the banks or institutions, so that they also feel that they are highly engaged and they also contribute maximum to the institutions. In fact, we have found that after the training which we have given to employees of other banks, the productivity has increased also. Along with that, we also, like in partnership with NGOs, we try to train or reskill or skill people with disabilities and see that they are gainfully employed with other institutions. So this is what SBI Center of Excellence for Persons with Disability does. Our third flagship program is SBI Gram Seva, where we are going for holistic development of villages. Here we have implemented the scheme in 10 Gram Panchayats comprising 50 villages. So these villages, we see that the community come forward with their ideas for development, and SBI partners with them to see that these ideas take shape. So it's a holistic development in the sense the foundation sees that be it education, health, environment, water, livelihood, in all these sectors the village develops. So at the end, this is a 3-year intervention. So at the end of 3 years, we'll see that the village is developed to a great extent and also is sustainable, in the sense that after the foundation leaves the project after 3 years, the community themselves will see that the project is running. See, as I told earlier, SBI Youth for India Fellowship is something which gives pride to SBI Foundation and SBI also, because highly educated youth from urban areas are applying for this fellowship, and we have partnered with 7 NGOs. After the orientation program, we send them to these NGO officers who also give orientation to them, and then these villages, these youths go to the villages. The beauty of SBI Youth for India Fellowship is that we don't thrust any project on them. We just tell the youth, you go to the village, you meet all the stakeholders for 2 to 3 months. You interact with the school teachers, you interact with the police people, you interact with the health people there, you interact with whoever, whichever stakeholder is there, and then you list out what are the pressing issues in the village. And then we tell them you intervene in one of these pressing issues. So by the end of 3 months, they come out with a project. I will intervene in health or I will intervene in education, like that. And then they work on the project, they implement it, they do it on a pilot basis. And once it is successful, they go on a permanent basis, try to upscale it also. By the end of 13 months, each of them sees that the project is sustainable. So that even if they leave the village after 13 months, this project continues. This has resulted in I will tell you a very happy scene, in the sense more than 60% of the highly educated youths who have gone through this fellowship journey continue in the development sector. That means they develop a liking for being in the development sector and contribute to the society. Some examples, if I should tell, I have one fellow who is MTech from IIT Chennai. He has joined as a fellow. He was working in Dangs district, Gujarat, which is a tribal district. He was working with the bamboo craftsmen. And being an MTech in mechanical engineering, he made some equipments, some simple equipment to reduce the drudgery of the bamboo craftsmen. And after the completion of 13 months, he went back to that village, and now he is a social entrepreneur promoting bamboo-based trade, bamboo-based lot of things they are making, pen, such things, office equipments, and it is giving livelihood opportunity to 6 to 7 people. So it's a very inspiring thing that a young boy who's completed MTech, he is in that tribal village and helping the people. It's something very inspiring. The same way I have seen a lawyer from Delhi, young girl. She also left the legal profession, joined the fellowship, and she also is now in Dangs district, Gujarat, helping the women of that village make jewelry out of bamboo. And it is now giving them a very good turnover and livelihood to many people. So in that way, there are several instances, several stories where you find that these young boys and girls have, with their creativity and innovation, addressed many of the pressing issues of villages. And I will always tell that these boys and girls are really role models for the new generation. See, CSR, if you take from SBI, SBI was doing CSR since 1973. That means many years before the Government of India changed the Companies Act and asked every corporate you have to contribute 2% towards CSR activities. That means this was part of integrated into the business strategy of SBI since long. And after this SBI Foundation has come, it has received more focus. What I would tell about the CSR scenario now is that since Companies Act tells that you have to spend 2% of your profit on CSR activities, many corporates are doing it. They have setting apart some amount for CSR activities. But then it will become more like ticking, like I have complied with the act, unless we do it with a passion, unless we do it with a vision. So my advice or message in this to this sector is that whoever comes into CSR sector or development sector should come with passion for this, liking for CSR. Otherwise, we won't be able to do the job properly. Like it will be just investing some amount in some sector and then forgetting about it. Okay, in your annual report, you will tell, I have spent 2 crores or 3 crores for children education or women empowerment. But then afterwards, if we are not passionate, we will not follow through it. And at the end, in our annual report, we may be mentioning I have spent this much amount for CSR activities. But what has been the impact of that 2 crores? What has been the impact of this project on the like adolescent girls or women? That no one is studying. I think not no one, I will tell you, very few are looking into that aspect. But I think as CSR evolves in India, all these will change, and like as I told you, many young people, young youths are showing a liking for CSR. When all of them enter this scenario, everything will change. So this is what I will always feel like those who are passionate only should enter the CSR sector. Then second thing will be that everyone is spending money, so it will almost becomes like scattered or like a scattered disbursement, peripheral disbursement here and there. I would advise that 4-5 corporates come together and focus on some area, some sector, so the impact will be very, very high.